Welcome back to another Premier League predictions video. This is for week 3 of the Premier League, and this is the last week before the international break. This is a chance for teams to pick up as many points as they can. First game up is Man City and Arsenal. This is a massive game for both sides. Both sides have to win this game. For Man City, they beat Norwich 5-0 last week. They destroyed them. And for Arsenal, they lost another game to Chelsea. And they probably could have lost by more. I thought Arsenal started the game well, but they fell away. And Arsenal are yet to score a league goal this season, which is pretty shocking. I think Man City wins this 3-0. Next game up is Aston Villa and Brentford. I thought after Aston Villa's loss to Watford that they're really going to struggle this season, but it looks like I was wrong. They beat Newcastle 2-0 last week, and it was a solid performance. They probably could have conceded, but they got the job done. And for Brentford, I actually thought they were pretty poor. Now, they've done a lot more than what was expected of them so far this season, although it's only been 2 games, but they picked up 4 points out of 6, which is really impressive. However, if you beat Arsenal in your first week, I think you should be beating Crystal Palace in your second week, especially if you're trying to stay up in the Premier League. Points come at a premium, and I think it was a missed opportunity. I thought Aston Villa were so impressive last week that they win this 3-0. Next game up is Brighton and Everton. This will be a tough game for both sides. Either side could win this game. Brighton have gotten off to a really good start. Maximum points so far this season, which is impressive. And for Everton, obviously they dropped points last week. I say drop because they were winning against Leeds at one stage, but they conceded a late goal, which is disappointing for them. However, I think Everton have been leaking a lot of goals this season. Actually, they did concede against Southampton. They probably could have conceded more, but they didn't. And against Leeds, it was an open game, so anything could have happened. Although, that's just an excuse. And for Brighton, I think, they've been pretty solid defensively this season, which shouldn't really be, shouldn't really be a surprise. I think Brighton wins this 2-1. Next game up is Newcastle and Southampton. This is another tough game for both sides. Obviously, Newcastle, they lost last week to Aston Villa, which was a surprise. I didn't mention because I thought they would have won that game. Obviously, Aston Villa showed up and showed what they can do. And even in their first game, Newcastle against West Ham, Newcastle got destroyed. And they're a team that have really been leaking a lot of goals. And for Southampton, I feel like they're a team that are really struggling to create chances to score goals. The goals they've scored this season have come from mistakes, and I don't think that's a good sign. This will be a tough game. Once again, either side could win it. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. Next game up is Norwich and Leicester. This is an interesting game. Obviously, Norwich have been atrocious so far this season. Now, they have had some really tough games, so you really shouldn't read too much into it. But at the same time, they haven't scored a league goal this season. And on top of that, they've been shocking defensively. It's actually been a disgrace. And for Leicester, I thought last week, that was a disgrace as well. That was some shocking stuff last week against West Ham. Actually, no, it was actually yesterday. It wasn't last week. And they were just all over the place. And that red card that happened, that is unacceptable for any player to get themselves sent off. Now, obviously, these things can happen by accident, but they really are avoidable. Going to this one, Leicester should be winning this, but because of how poor they were against West Ham, and even against Wolves to some degree, I think they're really lacking you know that final ball, that final finish to really score goals. Um, and really, I feel like any team could win this game. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. Next game up is West Ham and Crystal Palace. This will be a 3-0 win to West Ham. Next game up is Liverpool and Chelsea. Normally, I'd probably say that this is one of the games of the weekend, but I don't think so. If history tells me right, this will be a really poor defensive game from both sides. It's early on in the season, so I'm guessing neither team really wants to lose. And both these sides, but both these sides probably will be in a title race. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. Next game up is Burnley and Leeds. I think Burnley have actually been really good this season, even though they've lost their first two games and they conceded goals. But I think because of the way they've played, they've actually given themselves a chance to actually win games. They've been in both their games this season, but they've ended up losing them. And for Leeds, I think it's been a poor start to the season. Obviously, they got destroyed by Manchester United in the first week. And against Everton, I think they really struggled. Now, they did get a point out of that, but they could have easily lost that game. But there's something about Burnley that I feel like they haven't been that bad. They've lost games, obviously, but as I mentioned, however, I think they've been good enough to have actually won at least one or two games. I think Burnley wins this 3-0. Next game up is Tottenham and Watford. Well, obviously Tottenham should win this, but I don't think I'm giving Watford enough credit. Now, they did beat Aston Villa in the first game, and they were very impressive. However, in their next game against Brighton, I think things were different. It's hard to be consistent in the Premier League because, obviously it's a tough league. But, yeah, I think Tottenham wins this 2-0. Next game up is Wolverhampton and Manchester United. This is another interesting one because, well, for one, Wolves are yet to score a league goal this season, so they've been pretty toothless in attack. But at the same time, Manchester United drew away to Southampton last week. They really should have won that game. I don't know how they didn't win it. Obviously, if you don't take your chances, well, you're not going to win games, and you should be prepared to get punished. But, with Wolves, I feel like with the team they have, they should be doing a lot better. Obviously, it's still early on in the season. But at the same time, I don't think their opposition has been that difficult. They had less than the first week, so, okay, you lose that game, but, excuse me, to not score against Tottenham is, I mean, it's not the worst, outcome ever, but I really feel like you should have built on your first week and at least scored. Now, against Manchester United, obviously it's another tough opposition, but I feel like there's a chance to really get something from that game. And for Manchester United, once again, they really shouldn't be dropping points. I feel like because of how they played against Leeds, they should really be picking up maximum points in every game. However, I think this will be a 1-1 draw. And that's about it.